darn, I'm ranked 24,000 currently with my bracket that only had 5 misses in the first round, and but I guess I'll take it over anything. I mean, a lot of the picks that Pikachu and I made turned out to be really good ones after all, and Pikachu likes to pick really dramatic ones, but it's all about the it's all about the fun.
Some of them worked this time.
Oh yeah. And I bet some of you guys are probably like laughing now, like, how the hell would you pick somebody like that? LOL to, oh my god, they were right. But yeah, hey, this is Gray Fox 37.
And Pikachu 23.
And we're doing the aftermath of the first round. Well, obviously there's still a game going on, but we think Virginia Tech's pretty much got it. About a little less than 3 minutes left on it. And we're here to review the first round and pretty much, do our predictions for the weekend for the second round and what we're excited for and whatnot. So it was really fun. It was a really fun opening 2 days. A lot of high energy from a lot of teams you wouldn't expect. Couple surprises here or there. Ironically enough, the surprises that I'm talking about are ones that you probably weren't expecting, and then the surprises that I'm not going to talk about are the ones you probably were expecting, because my picks both our picks, some of them don't show a major surprise with it, but we'll get to that. So we'll start over in the East region, and Duke, let's give credit to North Dakota State. They really hung around there in the first half and showed a lot of heart and grit, but to be honest, I think Duke was just slacking. We always have a theory about, like in Alabama in football, we always have a theory that they troll in the first half, and then the second half they just come out and dominate hands down, but there wasn't really a doubt. But it was fun to see North Dakota State make a game out of it for a full half there. It was really enjoyable. At least Duke went into the half with a lead, unlike the other 3 teams there. But actually no, Gonzaga went in with the lead too. But Gonzaga was pretty much the most convincing of the 4 1 seeds against the 16. Gonzaga just came in and dominated right from the get-go, and pretty much just showed we're here to play. So if any of you guys actually picked them to win it all, good pick. But I mean, of course, this is the first round in shitty competition. No offense to Fairleigh Dickinson, but yeah. Central Florida really shocked me. I mean, I picked them to beat VCU. It's the first 9 seed that I picked second 9 seed that I picked that won. No 8 seeds won this year. All the 9 seeds actually won, which was a surprise. That doesn't really happen often. I mean, like we said before, the 8-9 seeds are a flick of a coin. I think I didn't really get to watch much of that game, but I think more than likely Central Florida's size just kind of dominated Virginia Commonwealth in the end there. The Duke-Central Florida matchup, I think Duke's still going to win it, but it's probably going to be entertaining for a while, and then I think Duke will probably catch on to it, and more than likely just kind of take over there and go from there. So Duke, I think, will probably win by 10 points. I'll give them that. I think Central Florida is going to give them a fight, but I think Duke will still win slightly convincingly. So. That Liberty-Mississippi State game was something, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was back and forth pretty much the whole time.
And then Mississippi State got a 10-point lead, and then Liberty buckled down on their defense and just started hitting threes like crazy. It could have gone either way, like we were saying before, but we just had a feeling Liberty was going to pull it off more. And then look at that nice green check mark. Yep. Here, look at those nice green check marks there for both of us. And to be honest and fair, I only picked I had a feeling Liberty could win, but I was thinking Mississippi State would pull it off, and I picked Liberty just because I went with Pikachu. I like their mascot, the Flame.
Yeah, I know, isn't it cool?
But still I still, was still in that belief, obviously, that Liberty could pull it off, and I'm just glad that they did. So that was a fairly exciting game today. It was really, really good to watch there. Virginia Tech's taking care of business. They had a really substantial lead. St. Louis started chipping away, but it looks like Virginia Tech's going to pull it off. There's a little less than $1.50 left in that game, so it looks like it's going to be Liberty, Virginia Tech in the second round. I tell you, if Liberty gets a hot hand, they could possibly beat Virginia Tech. I mean, we have Virginia Tech advancing, but don't count out on Liberty there. I think they're definitely going to give Virginia Tech a fight, and if you did pick Liberty in the Sweet 16, don't feel ashamed. They're a really hot shooting team. Don't think they're going to get past Duke, but
no.
Liberty could be a Sweet 16 team, so if you picked them, don't feel any shame about that there. That Maryland-Belmont game was pretty exciting. Belmont sadly choked and gave up on a big lead and let Maryland back into it, and Maryland pretty much held out on the end there. So, I picked Maryland in that. I wanted to pick Belmont because I'm a Castlevania fan.
Yeah.
But, I just kind of knew with Maryland's young talent, I had a feeling that they were going to pull through. So, it was a close one, and I knew Belmont would give them a fight. But, if that was another upset pick you had, don't feel shame in it. I mean, obviously it came down to the wire there. LSU had dominated Yale for a while, but Yale started making a comeback, but it was too far or too short, sadly, and that was Pikachu's upset pick there. Aww. So, as you can see, that was a good 14-3 upset shot there. Yale really gave LSU a hard time, but LSU wore them out in the end. So we've got a Maryland-LSU second round there, and I think LSU will win. I think Maryland, it's going to be a close game, but I think LSU, being more skilled and whatnot and older, are really going to pull it off in the end. But, Maryland could surprise some people, but I really think LSU's got the edge in that game there. The Louisville-Minnesota game, that was my first game of the day, and it was a wrong pick. But then I ended up going 14-2 on that day, which is pretty good. I mean, I had a great first day. I didn't beat my best, which is where I picked Duke over Wofford, and then Wofford Mercer, I'm sorry, and then Mercer ended up beating them. That was my only loss a while back there, but I mean, I had a pretty good first round. I only had 5 wrong picks, so that's not bad. It's not bad for an opening. Now I need to see how the rest of my bracket goes, but yeah, Minnesota really came to play. I'll tell you that. They had a good game against Louisville. It went back and forth for a while, and then but Minnesota had the edge through the whole game there. So we're seeing a Big Ten matchup against a Michigan State team that struggled against a Lucky Bradley team. Cassius Winston bailed Michigan State out pretty much. He and McQuaid just totally bailed Michigan State out in the end. Bradley fought tooth and nail through this game. I mean, they really gave Michigan State all they could muster. And Michigan State in the end, I mean, let me tell you something, the better talent in the end pulls it off, obviously. So, good job for Bradley there. I mean, our props to them for such a great game there. But, Michigan State pulled it off in the end, obviously. So, Michigan State, Minnesota, well, I think Michigan State's going to win, but, maybe, and Minnesota plays a different style than Bradley does, so I think Michigan State will win, and it'll probably be close for a little while, but I think Michigan State will pull away eventually and get to the Sweet 16. So I think that'll happen there. Otherwise, I would have had a perfect East bracket.
Yep.
Which is kind of a drag, but yeah, here's Pikachu's. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Couple of red X's through there. So, all right. So we're going to move down to the West region, where I had another near perfect first round there. Gonzaga was probably, out of all the 1 seeds, Gonzaga showed the grit right away. They completely decimated Fairleigh Dickinson and showed them that they want this tournament bad. This is going to be, that Duke Gonzaga rematch, if they meet in the Final Four, is going to be one hell of a game. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
And Gonzaga is just hungry, really hungry. This year, I know they made it to the national championship before and lost to North Carolina, but I'll be honest with you, I think this is the year, this is like championship or bust year for Gonzaga, because this is another highly talented team, one of their best in a long time, or not a long time, but in a little while there, and I think this has got to be their year, basically. This is like championship or bust, basically. So we'll see what happens further along. But it looks like they're going to be matching up against Baylor. Baylor really played Syracuse to the bone. I was completely shocked at how well Baylor, it was back and forth for a while. Both of them were shooting, but then Baylor basically got a hotter hand at the end and pretty much stomped Syracuse down. They're not bad, but 9-point victory over that. That was a shock there, and I really thought Syracuse was going to come through. But again, these 8-9 matchups are a flick of the coin. What can I say?
Exactly.
So Gonzaga-Baylor, well, I think Gonzaga's going to own them.
Yeah.
If Baylor gets a hot hand, they'll hang around. Like, if they have that hot hand, they'll hang around, but their defense is going to be destroyed by Gonzaga, by their bigs, and and by Gonzaga's speed as well. So I think Gonzaga's going to probably blow them out, so... but we've seen stranger things happen. I said that about Michigan State and Bradley, and look what happened.
Yeah.
It was an 11-point victory for Michigan State, but it was never really that far, so. Marquette and Murray State. We picked Murray State to win this. And, we got to give props to John Mornett there. He got the triple-double in the first round, which hasn't been done since, I want to say 2003, and it was that Marquette team that went to the Final Four. And look who they play. But, that's the reason why I picked Murray State over Marquette, is basically because I had a feeling that John Mornett was really going to put it on, and they won by nearly 20 against a decent Marquette team. So Murray State really, really made a name for themselves in that first round there. So, and that was their first victory in the NCAA tournament too, I believe. So they really made a strong statement there. So, could be a sleeper Sweet 16. Florida State handled Vermont fairly well. Vermont hung around for a while, but Florida State really showed them the stuff. So it's Florida State and Murray State in the second round there. Florida State we're picking to advance, but don't fall asleep on Murray State in that. I really think that it's going to be an offense versus defense battle, and it's going to come down to basically who perfects their craft more in that. So don't be surprised if Murray State wins. I'll just say that. Murray State has a chance at the Sweet 16 in this, and there's a lot of double-digit seeds currently still alive right now that have a shot at the Sweet 16 right now, so don't count these double-digit seeds out. They're really playing higher than their talent shows, or their seeding shows. So that's going to be a good game. I'm actually really looking forward to that game tomorrow. That's my the first game that I'm it is tomorrow. That's the first game I'm really looking forward to, basically at that point there. Buffalo beat the ever-loving crap out of the Scum Devils.
Yeah.
So, even though Buffalo beat Arizona last year, we'll call this penance. So, Buffalo is fast. Arizona State tried to keep up with their tempo, but they just looked lost there, basically, and they neutralized Remy Martin well. Buffalo's going to be... I can see why some people picked them as far as the Elite Eight or even the Final Four a few times, or Sweet 16 and whatnot. That Buffalo team has shooting and speed written all over it.
Yeah, they're very dangerous this year.
Very, very dangerous team. Don't be surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised if they ended up in the regional finals against, more than likely, Gonzaga. I'm at this point wouldn't be surprised, but then again, it's a mediocre Arizona State team, so I got to say that too. Texas Tech beat Northern Kentucky. I wasn't really surprised at that, and they did really well throughout the game, controlled the game, and won by a decent-sized margin there, 15. So I'm a little wary about that Buffalo matchup. That's another one I'm looking forward to on Sunday.
Yeah.
Or on Sunday, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a really, Buffalo could very well win that game.
Yep.
I'm hoping Texas Tech wins. I'm riding on them, obviously, but I really wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo won that, like I was saying before. So that's going to be an exciting game on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to that one there. Florida beat Nevada. I'm not really surprised by that. I'm sure some people are, but like I said, Nevada was starting to make a comeback there, but I really felt Nevada was overrated. I mean, their 7 seeding. People would be like, oh, they won like 30-something games and they were in like the top 10 throughout. They didn't really play anybody, and that's the reason why they got the 7 seed. Florida played a good game all around and didn't really Nevada kind of came back, but Florida really held on at the end there. So I'm not really surprised for that. Florida, I expected to advance there. Michigan overwhelming Montana, not surprised by that either. Michigan played a really thorough game in that. Florida-Michigan game, Florida will hang around for a bit, but I think Michigan in the end is going to dominate. So we'll see what happens with that tomorrow there. But we're really looking at decent matchup there. So if it weren't for Syracuse, I would have had a perfect West bracket as well. So we go over to Pikachu. Pikachu's only blemish there was the Syracuse-Baylor game.
Yep.
So that's actually her best bracket is the West bracket, so good props there. Move over to the South bracket. Gardner-Webb, like I said, the only 16 seed I felt stood a chance, and Gardner-Webb was dominating the first half. Kate went in with a 6-point lead, but I was just saying, you know what, I think Virginia is going to take it, and Gardner-Webb ran out of gas at the end. They really did, and that was Pikachu's upset pick there, but Virginia wasn't going to deny themselves a second round this year.
Guess not.
So not really surprised by that, but again, like I said, Gardner-Webb really gave, out of all the 16 seeds, Gardner-Webb was the best, and I pretty much called it there, so I'm really glad at least, I was right about that. This was a surprise. Oklahoma beat the stuffing out of Ole Miss. I was completely shocked by that.
Yeah.
I mean 95-72. Man, they were next to Washington. They were one of the most convincing middle tier seeds today. That they just came out firing on all cylinders. We'll see what happens Sunday. Virginia, Oklahoma could be a good one, and we'll see if maybe Oklahoma's aggression translates over against Virginia there. I mean, I think Virginia will pull it off. Oklahoma might hang out for a while, but I'm looking at a really good game there, and I really think Virginia will pull through, but Oklahoma could give them a fight. So we'll see what happens there. Wisconsin, Oregon, no surprise there, really. Yeah. Except the score. Oregon won 72-54. I thought this game was going to be a lot closer, but Oregon really, they played an all-around great basketball game. Good defense, good rebounding, good shooting all around. Really, really helped whittle down Wisconsin well. So, they're a sleeper darling that has won the hearts of a lot of people. So, and then, like I said, out of the 12s, I was saying Oregon's one that you would definitely want to pick there, and lo and behold, there you go.
Yeah, because they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, 9 straight wins now, just to let you know. 9 straight wins, and that includes the Pac-12 championship. So there you go. And then, I told you... Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We're not professionals.
No.
Imagine if we were on CBS and they heard that there. Cut to commercial. Cut to commercial. Cut it. Also, the same could be said about this next game. When I said that if you wanted to pick a really good 13/4, UC Irvine was the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy, that zone defense was so good.
Yeah.
And that shooting, and hey, shout-outs to Max Hazard. He's the younger brother of Jacob Hazard, who was a walk-on at the University of Arizona and was actually one of the best walk-ons next to Anas Fella from 2002, just to let you know. So shout-outs to Max Hazard of UC Irvine for his hot hand and keeping that team alive. Way to go. Way to go, Max. So that Oregon-UC Irvine game, I am really looking forward to that.
That's going to be a good game.
That is going to be a great game. This also, for the, ninth straight season, guarantees that a double-digit seed is going to advance to the Sweet 16 after Sunday's said and done. So, that's another thing that's going on. And I'll even tell you this. I'll even go ahead and tell you this. Arizona was one of those teams. They actually are in the Sweet 16 as a 12 seed after beating Utah in the first round and Cleveland State in the second round. And Cleveland State was a 13 seed who upset Wake Forest. And then Arizona got in there, but Louisville beat the stuffing out of them, which we expected. That was actually, yeah. So, I mean, there was really no surprise there. But it was great to see, Arizona with a highly talented team that overachieved. They had like Chase Budinger and Jordan Hill and whatnot, so they overachieved. And they had Russ Pennell as their head coach, who then went to Grand Canyon after Miller was hired after that. So, and Russ Pennell worked with the talent that was inherited from Lute Olson, and they were lucky to even. I'll be honest with you, Arizona was lucky to be in the tournament anyway. I mean, like, everybody was just like, how the hell did Arizona get in? Even I was shocked. I was like, what? But there we go. I was really surprised. I didn't think they had any reason to be there. Virginia Tech beat St. Louis 66-52, so we'll see that Liberty Virginia Tech matchup on Sunday. So UC Irvine, yeah, I really think they're a Sweet 16 caliber team. I really do. And just, watch out for them. And if Virginia makes it to the Sweet 16, watch out. That is going to be a really, really good game. I think UC Irvine could really break down Virginia's defense. I mean, it's, UC Irvine can score. That Oregon-UC Irvine game is going to be a shootout. I know that. Villanova slipped past St. Mary's. That was a toss of the coin, and I feel that Pikachu's pick for St. Mary's was a good one in that, regardless of the 4-point loss there. But, Villanova, like I said, Jay Wright, around tournament time, no matter where he is, usually gets his team where they need to go, except for that sad NC State Piccolo girl crying loss a few years ago. But they came back the next year and won the national championship by a last-second buzzer beater to North Carolina. So there you go. But that was a good game there. Purdue whomped on Old Dominion for a while, and then Old Dominion was kind of keeping things even Stevens for a bit, but Purdue ended up winning. Purdue-Villanova is going to be an interesting matchup. Villanova could very well win that game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I'm picking Purdue personally, but I think Villanova has a shot too, so that's kind of a second-round flip of the coin there. So, it very well could be... I want to see a buzzer beater. We haven't seen any buzzer beaters yet, damn it. Aww. I want a buzzer beater.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Here's another surprise that really did surprise a lot of people. Iowa beat Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The AAC champs who beat a damn fine Houston team loses to an Iowa team that was on a slide, and I bet you they loved it. I bet you they just gobbled it up and were just like, yeah, you go ahead and underestimate us. We're going to win this. And then lo and behold, wow, they came out and they won it. And it was 79-72. Not bad. I mean, Iowa was a very surprising team. I mean, they played really well-rounded through the whole game. Colgate gave Tennessee a hard time, and in the back of my mind, that's why I was saying I was uneasy about picking Tennessee to the national championship, was basically because it wasn't just only the 20-point loss to Auburn, but also that they might have met Cincinnati in the second round. I was really uneasy about that.
Yeah.
So, and now Iowa slightly makes me uneasy, but I mean, Tennessee, I'll tell you this, Admiral Schofield bailed them out in the end of that game. He showed why he's senior talent, and he showed why he's a badass. So I think Tennessee will still beat Iowa. It might be kind of like a 7 to 10 point affair like the Colgate game, but I think as long as Tennessee gets off to a fast start, and if it comes down near the end that they hold on to it, I think Tennessee will still beat Iowa. That Sweet 16 matchup between Villanova and Purdue would be a good one if they win that, but I still think Tennessee will. I think Tennessee has slightly easier opponent now, unless Iowa is riding on like a some magic high right now.
Maybe.
Yep, you never know. All right, so here there's those couple red slashes there, sadly. But that Elite Eight's gone pretty much for Pikachu there, unless but Pikachu's Final Four isn't down and out, so because we have the same Final Fours.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap up with the Midwest. Iona had a brilliant first half with UNC, but we were talking about it during our walk, like, North Carolina's going to come back, and they did. They pretty much did. 15-point victory for them, but hey, hats off to Iona. I honestly thought Iona was going to be the lousiest 16 seed in the tournament, but hey, congrats on a great first half there against North Carolina. It's a thought that counts for sure there. Washington, the Washington-Utah State game, I'm not really surprised that Washington won. I am surprised at the 78-61 victory, though. That was, wow. I didn't think Washington was going to beat the crap out of Utah State, but they did, because this game, for the first 10 minutes, was pretty much back and forth, and that's how I thought it was going to go throughout the whole game there. But then, all of a sudden, Washington just started, playing defense better. They started shooting better, and at the half they were up by 12, and then they just never lost it after that. So my hat's off to, Washington there, because Utah State was actually a very popular pick in that one there. But I kind of figured with Mike Hopkins leading the helm and, Washington basically having a pretty good season in a really down Pac-12. I got to say that, that was good there. Now, that North Carolina-Washington game, I'm really looking forward to that on Sunday. Washington could beat North Carolina. It's possible. It is very... That
would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is. Like I was saying before the whole tournament began, if any 8 or 9 seed had a chance at knocking off a 1 seed, it's Washington, and I still am sticking by it. If they play as well as they did against Utah State, expect a good one there. I think North Carolina will pull through because they're more talented, but it's going to be a tough game. I really think it is. And if you guys did pick an 8-9 upset over a 1, Washington was a good pick. So, Auburn, boy, this is a year where 4 12 seeds would have beat a 5 seed.
Yeah.
Auburn gave the game away practically 3 times. 3 times to New Mexico State at the end. I'm not surprised New Mexico State held on, because like I said before, New Mexico State has a really good offense, and they proved it. They really proved it. Auburn's 3-point shooting bailed them out in this game. New Mexico State had 3 opportunities to win this, and Auburn was just giving it to them. Poor fouls, poor turnovers, poor shooting. I mean, they were just like, here, New Mexico State, take the game and just run away with it. Giving Charles Barkley a heart attack as well there, And Bruce Pearl at the end of the game even was telling Charles, "We need you, man. We need you to stay through." But Auburn pulled off a 78-77 victory, and it was just pure luck, to be honest. They are very lucky that they made it to the second round there, I'll be honest with you.
Kind of surprised me because of the the game before the tournament where they completely destroyed, which team was it again?
Tennessee.
Yeah. It kind of surprised me.
Yeah. But like I said before, New Mexico State had one of the most consistent offenses all season, and they showed it. They really did. I mean, New Mexico State gave a great fight. New Mexico State always plays tough in the tournament. I mean, whenever they make it, if they're like a 12 or 13 seed, man, that's when you know they've got a really good team. If they're a little lower, it usually means that they kind of had more of a downtrodden year, but they still won their conference. But whenever you see them like at a 12 or 13, you better look out. So if you guys did pick New Mexico State, wasn't a bad pick at all. But hey, we're going to pop our collars. We got all the 5-12 picks right, and we picked 3-12 5 upsets, but based off of decent analysis, But again, some of them could have gone either way, like that Mississippi State Liberty game. So,
that
like
was
I said,
so close.
It's madness, but you got to go by your gut feelings sometimes.
Yeah.
This was another, the victory wasn't a surprise, but the score was. Kansas killed Northeastern 87-53. And I even was saying that Northeastern could possibly give Kansas a run for their money. More than likely, Bill Self probably heard me and said, all right, fuck you, Gray Fox, I'm going to show you how it's done. So Kansas really, they have a chip on their shoulder. Very disappointing season by Kansas standards, let's be fair. And a lower seeding than what they're normally used to. But hey, they did it, and they did it convincingly. They are the most convincing 4 seed out of all the other 4 seeds. They really, I think they're the best 4 seed, to be honest, after seeing everything. They play Auburn, and I'm kind of like sad about my Auburn pick. It's going to be a close game. Don't get me wrong. It'll be a back and forth game. I still think I think Auburn can pull it off if they have the shooting edge, but I'm not going to be surprised if Kansas wins now. Now I'm going to be like, I think Kansas has a chip in their shoulder. Hell, let's go even farther to saying this. No matter who they play in this, if they win and make it to the Sweet 16, whether it be North Carolina or Washington, if they're riding on this energy, I wouldn't be surprised if they get to the Elite Eight at this point. Kansas, they've got a good coach. They've got talent that's sadly underachieved, but I think Self's got them fired up. So Kansas could be a sleeper 4. They really could. And if they do beat North Carolina, like let's say North Carolina gets past Washington, Kansas, and Kansas beats Auburn, and then let's say Kansas gets past North Carolina, the Elite Eight's probably going to be Kentucky or slim chance of Houston there. If Kansas is right, and they could make a Final Four run by a complete surprise, you never know. But again, this is Northeastern, so we're not going to jump the gun yet. But still, very impressed by that dominant victory. Normally, you don't see 4 seeds these days have very dominant victories over 13 seeds, especially. Obviously, Arizona got destroyed last year by a 13 seed, but normally when the 4 seed pulls off the victory, it's usually hard-earned these days. So sometimes these seedings, like in women's basketball, it's different. Usually the lower the seed it is, the more chance. It's rare to ever see low seeds beat high seeds in women's basketball. It happens once in a while. Like last year, I think it was Gonzaga that made a surprise, or Harvard or something like that. I remember a 16 beating a 1 had happened in women's basketball before, but a 15 beating a 2 hadn't happened, and then I think that recently did happen. Sorry, I only follow Notre Dame in women's, so, but it's just kind of like recollective memory there. You know what? I'm actually interested. I'm going to look this up here. Yeah, and then people are probably saying it right now. This is what it is, Gray Fox. So let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, 1998, Harvard upset Stanford, and Stanford is. I mean, it was the same head coach that Stanford had, and let me tell you something. Stanford is amazing in women's basketball. Oh, I mean, heck, they were amazing in men's when Mike Montgomery coached them. I mean, I love the Arizona-Stanford rivalry, and I hated it at points too.
Yeah.
But in women's basketball, a 15-2 and a 14-3. Oh, okay. No 15-2 or 14-3 has ever won a game in women's basketball. The closest any 15 seed came to winning was in 2017 when Long Beach State lost to Oregon State 56-55. Okay. Yeah, and Oregon State was a 2 seed. Oregon State's pretty good in women. So is Oregon. Oregon and Oregon State are really good women's basketball teams. The West Coast has some ballers. I'll tell you that. Cal was pretty good for a while. UCLA was above average, but yeah, women's basketball on the West Coast, they have some ballers. I'll tell you that. They really do. And then, of course, there's been like 6 13-4 victories. So, yeah, you see what I mean? There's been quite a few 13-4, 12-5 victories in men's, but in women's, you don't really see it often. So, basically, Marist had actually pulled it off twice as a 13 seed. So, but you really don't see it. There's been 22 12 seeds that have defeated 5 seeds, and that's a lot. But men's basketball has more. So, but yeah, usually if you're a higher seed, you're gonna come out on top a lot often. So, it's not uncommon to see the higher seeds basically make it and everything like that. Quinnipiac made it to the Sweet 16 in 2017 after they beat Miami in women's as a 12 seed, and then Marist in 2007 beat Middle Tennessee and got in there as a 13 seed there. So, and then I remember Notre Dame in 2003 when they kind of had a semi-average year as 11 seed, beat Kansas State and got into the Sweet 16. So Gonzaga was in 2011. That was what I was thinking of. Gonzaga was a 11 seed who defeated 7 seed Louisville in 2011 and got into the Elite Eight. But beyond that, no double-digit seed in women's no lower double-digit seed, like above 10, have been into the Final Four in women's. Now, there have been a couple, like Oregon went in as a 10 seed I think it was in 2017, and lost to UConn. UConn destroyed them, of course, because UConn pretty much rules women's. Mm-hmm. And then...
Except for last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go Irish, yeah. Wale. Oh, man. Mm-hmm. What a stone cold lady, I'll tell you that. Yep. And then Syracuse, I remember, proceeded as a 10 seed in the Final Four in women's back in 2016. And then I'm sorry. I'm probably thinking... Unless I'm thinking... Oh, no, that was in men's. Never mind. Oops. But, no, it was just Oregon in 2017 that proceeded there as a 10 seed in the Final Four. Because I'm thinking there, wait a minute, 2016 Syracuse, that was when they lost to North Carolina after North Carolina sadly beat a shocking Elite Eight Notre Dame. So, yeah. I mean, the Elite Eight in 2015 was no surprise, basically. I mean, I thought Notre Dame was going to play Arizona in the Final Four, and that would have been such a dream matchup. Yeah. But Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker just hit lights out threes, contested ones against Arizona, and Vistoria on Notre Dame. Steve Vistoria fouled Aaron Harrison at the end. If it weren't for that, Notre Dame would have won. Even Jarian Grant had a great look at a three to take Kentucky out, and they just fell short. But everybody was talking shit about Notre Dame. Oh, Kentucky's going to destroy Notre Dame. I'm like, Kentucky hasn't played a fast team like Notre Dame yet. This is going to be a challenge, and they only lost by 2, so there you go. But we digress, sorry.
Uh-oh.
Ohio State being Iowa State was a little bit of surprise. We were watching that, and Iowa State had a chance to win it, or not win it, but tie it at the end. So, but Ohio State pretty much controlled the game throughout, despite how close it was. So, hats off to you. Hats off to you, Ohio State. You know, you guys really played great, and you lived to see another day. And hey, congrats, Chase, and DJ. There, your Buckeyes continue. So there you go. Houston was probably the most convincing 3 seed today. Beat the ever-loving crap out of Georgia State, 84-55. Whew.
Yeah.
Man, did they really play great ball today. Georgia State can sometimes surprise. I mean, obviously they upset before the famous coach falling out of the chair after his son hit a 3-pointer against Baylor a couple years ago. You know, obviously Georgia State can ball, but Houston really, like I was saying, they came out of the water, like I was saying before, they came out and I think they're ready to play. Now, Ohio State, it might give them a challenge, but I think Houston's got an easier walk into the Sweet 16 now. If they played Iowa State, I wouldn't have been really confident in saying that, but I think Houston's got a little bit of an easier jump into the Sweet 16 now, so that's another game I'm going to be looking forward to, because Houston's a dark horse of mine, so we'll see what happens there. So Sunday, that's going to be a good one to look forward to. Most convincing 7 seed, Wofford.
Yeah, definitely them.
Honestly, that was the most fun game of the tournament. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, from what you've watched.
Oh. Because let's see. I don't know. I'm kind of between that one and the Liberty game.
Yeah, no, I was thinking you were going to choose the Liberty game. That's okay.
I don't really have I don't know.
It's a tie.
But I'm between those. Yeah.
I don't blame you. The Wofford game blew me away. Like, I knew Seton Hall was going to give them a hard time, and then Wofford goes on like a 19 or 20 to 2 run at the end of that game. Nathan Hoover and now I had his name.
Don't remember the name either.
I had his name. He broke the 3-point record in NCAA history, especially over J.J. Redick.
Shoot. I don't remember the name either, but I know who you're talking about.
I feel terrible. I'm sorry, Terrier fans and basketball fans. I feel really terrible. Let me look him up real quick here, and then I'm going to laugh because I'm going to be like, oh, yeah. Oh, so basically it was, McGee.
That's right.
I knew his name began with an F, and it was a weirder one. I was almost about to say Felden or something like that. But Fletcher McGee, not only dominates on the edge with Nathan, or outside the 3 with Nathan Hoover, or arch. I'm sorry, I'm like fading away here. Not only does he dominate outside the arch, but he breaks the record, the 3-pointer record mark there. And I remember J.J. Redick for Duke. I remember in 2005, he and Salim Stoudemire on Arizona had a 3-point shooting, like basically who was the better shooter. And I was like, Stoudemire, man, Stoudemire almost broke the Pac-12 record for most threes in a game. It's still he tied it, which is 9 in a game. Yeah. He could have gotten 10, but Olsen pulled him out early. But well, boy, like I said, this team is hot with their shooting, and if they get consistently hot, look out. That's why, I was picking them over Kentucky, who convincingly beat Abilene Christian. And it's funny because I'm like, Abilene Christian's the best 15 seed, and then Colgate and Bradley give Tennessee and Michigan State. And I had to laugh at that. But Kentucky and Michigan were the most convincing 2 seeds for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky got to the Final Four. I really wouldn't at this point. I still want Wofford to win. I'm now kind of going on a hot shooting Wofford team to beat a talented, near elite Kentucky team. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if if Kentucky pretty much stomps Wofford at this point, but we'll see.
It would be cool to see Wofford win, though.
The Midwest bracket is probably my craziest bracket for picks, and I'm probably going to lose a lot of points for that, but we'll see what happens. But the Wofford-Kentucky game, that's the one I'm looking forward to the most tomorrow. So I'm really excited for that one there. Now, if Kentucky and Houston met, for example, that's going to be an interesting game that could come down to the wire. I'd probably take Kentucky over Houston, to be honest, even though I have Houston in the lead 8. But I think Kentucky would probably have more of an edge at that point. If Wofford wins, Wofford-Houston's going to be a great game to look forward to on Thursday.
That would be so cool.
Kentucky, North Carolina Elite 8 would be fine. I'm looking for North Carolina, Houston Elite 8. But then imagine if you had like a Kansas, Kentucky Elite 8 or a Kansas, Houston Elite 8 or something like that. Just, a Kansas, Houston Elite 8 would be interesting because you got two dark horse teams, one that struggled and one that pretty much rode the reins all throughout the season, minus a slightly bad ending in the championship of the AAC. That then translates to Cincinnati losing to a subpar Iowa team. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But Pikachu kind of had a bit of a rough Midwest. So the West and the West overall is looking good for her so far.
That's what happens when you pick a bunch of upsets, though. And sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't.
There you go. And I was writing on Iowa State to give me a perfect Midwest bracket, which is the toughest bracket, clearly, you can see. But that's pretty much it there. So, there's going to be a lot of great games to look forward to tomorrow. A lot of great ones to look forward to on Sunday. So, that's pretty much it for the first round there. So we're going to record on Sunday night after the second round and do our Sweet 16 analysis and everything like that. As for our gaming, not sure when we're going to start Secret of Mana just yet. I might hold it off until the next weekend, basically. Or I might even hold it off to Wednesday, since I still have Wednesdays off. Schedule's changing up to where I'll have Thursdays off in about 2 weeks, but I still have weekends off as well. But I might start Secret of Mana on Wednesday because I do need, the first part of the game is one player, so what I do need to do is I just need to get all the way up to Gaia's Navel and pretty much get the sprite, and then at that point, next Saturday when we have Ardith over, we might be able to play and record together, which I think would be really fun.
Yeah.
So, and we may do it on the laptop with because it has a Bluetooth on it, and we can plug the microphone into one of the USB ports. We'll play it by ear, though. We'll see what happens. I haven't recorded on the laptop before, so we'll see what happens there and go from there. But this was really fun, and it was a really good, fun day of basketball there. But we appreciate your time today, and once again, this is Gray Fox 37.
And Pikachu 23.
And we'll see you next time.